In today's video, we're gonna share some great tips on maximizing your cannabis yields while saving you time and money. But before we do, today's video is brought to you by Real Growers Grow Dots, the easiest way to feed your high-value plants. You mix Grow Dots in once at the beginning of your grow, and they feed your plants all the way to harvest. You don't have to worry about nutrient burn or nutrient lockout. Grow Dots does all the hard work for you. Check them out over at realgrowers.com. And while you're there, use coupon code Scotty420 to get 20% off your first order. Now let's get back to the show. Come on, High C, you ready to jump into it, man? We'll make it easy?
I am. This one is a little bit weird of a topic, but you know what? I always hear people saying, man, I'd love to do it, but I can't afford that, or I can't afford those new lights. And so it does seem like a legitimate thing. A lot of growers are looking for ways to get great yields while also saving their money.
Yeah, and there's there's a few really key tricks I want to talk to you about, things I've learned over the years that will save you a lot of time, money, effort.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it, man.
It's the easiest one. Number one is pretty cool. Just run your lights at night. Run your lights off peak. If you'll take a look at your electric bill, there is peak electricity during the day when all the businesses are using electricity.
And they charge you more during
like sometimes triple more, a lot more. And when everybody goes home at the end, at night, and they're just watching their TVs, maybe running some air conditioning, there is a lot more power available. So they reduce the price. I want to say it's like a third. It's a lot lower, man.
I think here in Fort Collins, it's anytime
after 7, right?
Yeah. I think here in Fort Collins, it's anytime after 7 o'clock, the price dramatically drops.
And think about heat dramatically drops too. What do we have to worry about? Paying for air conditioning. So if we run our lights at night, we save on the air conditioning bill, and then we're paying a third for power.
Okay, speaking of lights, I know that we've talked about like diminishing returns. People arguing over 18 versus 24.
Yep.
And how does that kind of factor into this?
And that's DLI. We've talked about DLI, daily lighting integral, how much light your plant can absorb before it just starts bouncing off or rolling off, however you want to think of it in your head. So that's determined by how many photons, how much PPFD, how strong the light is coming down. I think of it as raindrops. If you can get all the raindrops that plant can absorb in 18 hours, well, then you don't need to run it for the other 24 hours. If you've got just not that much light and it's not hitting its maximum, it's DLI, then you got to leave that running in veg for 24 hours.
Okay, and then the last thing when it comes to lights, and this is kind of as technology is advanced and efficiency, how does that save me money, and what's the most efficient lights out there right now?
Yeah, of course. When we were talking about lights before, we had 1,000-watt HPS. That was the most efficient light they had, and it's measured in U moles per joule. You'll see it's this weird U type of thing. And it would be like 1.4, I think was the number there. Now they're up to over 3.0 with LEDs. So that's double.
Double the efficiency.
Yeah, so think about getting double the amount of light for the same amount of power. That's pretty cool, right?
And is that still those old gas-powered bulbs, or
no? The gas-powered bulbs, those are HPS or metal halide, and they'll do like about 1.4 somewhere around there is the best ones. LEDs are over 3, so they're giving you over twice as much light for the same amount of power. So that'll save you a lot of money. It means theoretically you could run half as much light. Half as much wattage is half as much to cool also.
Oh, so you're saving money. You're saving money in 2 or 3 different ways that way.
Yeah, well, think about it. We've already got paying a third for electric because you just changed the time that we do it. Now we have less heat, so we're lowering our electric bill, our air conditioning bill. Those are probably the 2 biggest expenses.
And then adding in those efficient, getting twice as much light per unit of electricity. Man, okay, this is great. Let's move on to the next one.
Yes. Come on, man. I'd have to say nutrients. Avoiding super over expensive nutrients and efficient nutrient use would be my next tip. Man, they're good at marketing. Some of this stuff, they'll sell you 18 bottles at $30 a bottle. that gets to be an expensive hobby. It doesn't need to be, though. Cannabis isn't some crazy plant that has all these special needs to it. If you can grow beautiful tomatoes or beautiful peppers, you can probably grow some pretty darn good cannabis.
Well, one of the things that I ran into, and you had to quickly correct me, was people, especially some of the less scrupulous nutrient companies out there, advising twice as much product as you actually need. So.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff like that. It comes from back in the day when they were really just doing the stuff at universities as far as, research, and I have to measure 20% runoff so I can get all my measurements. It's not like that with what we're growing. The nutrient is fairly simple. You give it its macronutrients at the right time, the right amount of nitrogen, let that taper off, phosphorus and potassium, and eat plenty of that. The secondaries, cannabis has a unique need for more magnesium. It's like calcium and magnesium hungry. And the micronutrients are, they're available, man. So it's not that crazy, okay? That's what, shout out to Grow Dots. I took that philosophy, man, where I'm like, look, it doesn't have to be this crazy. That 12 and 15 bottle stuff, it's unnecessary. If you want to do it, man. I think my wife has 8 products for her hair, okay? Look at this hair. Only one product, all right?
I don't know if that's a good endorsement. Right?
Yeah, scratch that part.
Okay, so I did the calculation. I think I'm doing about $4 per plant by using Grow Dots.
Yep.
And that's enough nutrient from the very beginning all the way to the end.
Sure.
Which is saving me a lot of money over the old, confusing, kind of intimidating nutrient schedule that I first started out with.
Yeah, it's like when I asked that sage, and he said some people like to use 12 bottles, some people like to use 1.
Okay. And then just to touch on that, the one other thing, and this is definitely a Grow Dots plug.
Sure.
But I haven't ever had to worry about overfeeding my plants or using more nutrients than I could actually absorb. So that was another thing that has helped save me money.
This can be as much of a hobby as you want it to be. If you want to micromanage as much as you want to be, if you want to set it on autopilot, there's that too. And everything in the middle.
Okay. All right. And then the last one here, you said genetics. Let's talk about genetics and saving money. Because first thing that I think is, man, those really good genetics, I'm probably going to pay twice as much for a cut of that.
All right, I tell you what, let's think about a pack of seeds. You buy a pack of seeds, whether it's $60 or $250, there's a big range of them. When you grow that pack of seeds, you still have to find the pheno that you like. So that means you have to grow that pack of seeds out for veg and then flower. You got 3 months invested in them. The whole time you have to keep mothers of everything that you're trying. What happens if they're no good? What happens if you go, I don't really like any of these? You just wasted 3-4 months, a whole bunch of veg time, a whole bunch of flower time. I'm a big fan of finding a proven winner clone that you like. I got to check my privilege because I can go to the store. I have friends that are giving me these DGC Cup winning ones. But if you can find a winner clone, then you can hit the ground running. You can go home. You can bush that thing out. You've got your own factory in 10 or 14 days. So it's going to take you to turn that into a mother and start cutting from it. So, and it's proven winner.
And the other thing I'm thinking about is like the lost opportunity cost. If I've got my tent or my grow room full of maybe this plant will be good, maybe it won't, and I have to wait a month to find out.
You have to wait 3 months to find out.
Okay, I have to wait 3 months. That's 3 months of potentially 90% of my grow area that I could be growing proven winners, but I'm growing basically gambles.
Once you got a couple buckets full of weed, that's when it's once you have a couple buckets full of weed, that's when it's fun to start looking for that unicorn. I'm not dogging out seeds at all. That's how these great strains all are derived, man, from people breeding and making these seeds. I'm just saying, if I'm trying to save some money, then time is money in this situation. If I can go get a proven winner and hit the ground running, and 90 days later know what I got and have more clones ready to go in the flower, that's going to save me some money. But that's just my 2 cents in the matter. What about you? Have you got any money-saving tips for us growers? Let us know in the comments. And if you dug this video, please hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, share this video with another grower, and check out the other couple videos we got for you. I hope you dig them.